Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am filming a video today for like the first time in 3 months, I think. So it's been since January, it's been since my New Year's resolution goals for the year. And so today I'm doing something a little bit different. So many of you know this is my music channel. I talk about my experience as an artist, how I write music, my original songs, covers, all those kinds of things. And I recently, as many of you may know if you follow my Instagram, I recently launched a website, which you can check out here and in the description below. And I'm super excited to share that with you. But today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Today I'm going to be talking about something quite personal to me, and that is my story with functional neurological disorder. And that is why I'm wearing this t-shirt today, because April is F&D Awareness Month. So today I'm going to be kind of sharing with you my experience with functional neurological disorder. I'm also going to be talking about, what is F&D, common misconceptions, how are people diagnosed, and also like symptoms that people experience. I'm going to finish that off with some common coping strategies that have helped me and advice that I would give someone who is currently struggling with F&D. I want to preface this by saying that I am not a neurologist. I am simply speaking from my own personal experience with F&D, and I feel that it's really important to share experiences so that we can help each other in this space. It can be a very scary and intimidating thing when you're first diagnosed or trying to figure out what's happening to your body, maybe considering, okay, maybe I do have F&D, what do I do next? So I kind of want to be your big sister right now and share my experience and what I did, and maybe that can help you or help someone else, or at least bring awareness to this important cause. What is F&D? So according to F&D Hope, F&D, functional neurological disorder, it is a problem with the functioning of the nervous system and how the brain and body send and receive signals. So physical and or psychological risk factors can cause functional symptoms, which include a variety of physical, sensory, and cognitive symptoms. Functional neurological disorders are considered to be multifactorial, which means many different risk factors can contribute to the development of the disorder. The symptoms are real and can cause impairment to quality of life that is similar to, and in some aspects worse than, other neurological conditions. So this is the official statement from F&D Hope of what F&D is. However, I define F&D as a problem between the brain and the body. In F&D, the brain miscommunicates to the body. F&D is not a structural issue, meaning that if you got an MRI or a CT scan, you would not be able to physically see F&D on your brain. F&D is described as something like a software issue rather than a hardware issue, meaning that it still affects the body and is still very real, but again, you cannot see that on a CT scan or a MRI. Another quick quote from F&D Hope. F&D is considered a rare disease. However, the exact prevalence is unknown. Some researchers claim that functional symptoms are often seen in neurological services, making it a common disorder. One report indicates approximately 1/3 of outpatient neurology clinic attendances are patients reporting functional symptoms. So very interesting. Again, there is a lot of research that needs to be done in this field. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit closer now, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience and my story with F&D. F&D completely changed my life overnight about a year and a half ago in August of 2024. Now, before that, I did not know about F&D. I did not have any prior knowledge about neurological disorders, and I started experiencing things at work that were like tics. So kind of verbal or physical motor tics that included my head moving around or whistling or kind of words that I would repeat. And it was very unusual, and I didn't know what was happening at the time. As I was entering finals of that kind of summer semester, I eventually went to a doctor. I went to the hospital for a while and they did some tests on me, CT scans, MRIs, all those things. Of course, you can't find FND on those scans, so nothing unusual came up. Now, I was in and out of the hospital for about 3 months, and I started experiencing a range of symptoms. A neurologist, after a few months, I was on a wait list. I was misdiagnosed, which was difficult. However, I do not blame that system. I think that there's a lot of misunderstanding in the world about FND, and especially where I live, there's not a lot of supports. I actually had to go out of province to receive supports eventually. So eventually I left my province, went out of province to receive support. I have such wonderful friends and family that were able to do research and discovered that there was someone out of my province that I could see and receive kind of a support plan. Just like FND is a multifactorial disorder, so is the treatment. Physiotherapy, occupational therapy, mental health support, and neurology. So I'd go and see the specialist for a couple times in 1 month, and then come back in 3 or 4 months a couple times. And in between those sessions, I would have work that I would do on my own. So I just want to talk a little bit about symptoms. So just because my symptoms look the way that they do doesn't mean that everyone has the same symptoms as me. Many people with functional neurological disorder can have things like seizures, or functional seizures it's called. They can have dystonia, weakness, pain, like I experience tics. They can experience things like walking problems, headaches. Collapsing and fainting is another part of that as well. It can be really helpful to do some research on those symptoms and understand their prevalence, because supporting our loved ones, supporting and building awareness is the best thing that we can do to support people who are struggling with FND. So according to FND Hope, this is how people are diagnosed with FND. The diagnosis of FND should be approached in the same transparent and straightforward way a physician would do for another patient or diagnosis seen in their clinic. So essentially, when someone's diagnosed with FND, and in my experience, a full portfolio of diagnosis, symptoms, past experiences, and a medical history is compiled, and all these different criteria are analyzed. FND Hope does say that the most important step towards a successful treatment for functional neurological disorder comes from clear and effective communication in a mutually respectable environment. The clinician's ability to explain the diagnosis and educate the patient of critical importance to the subsequent likelihood of successful treatment is crucial. Evidence is now emerging for the utility of multidisciplinary treatment. So that's what I had. So there is a lot of research to support that this multidisciplinary or multifactorial approach is really helpful to support symptoms of FND and to support those patients further. So unfortunately, there are a lot of misconceptions with people with FND. The most common misconception is that FND patients are in control of some or all of their symptoms. Again, this is not true. So just like I mentioned, like you can't stop a sneeze from happening. That's how FND symptoms operate. There is this compulsive kind of feeling around FND, at least my symptoms, and through a multidisciplinary approach, I was able to address these. I retrained my brain to understand these movement patterns associated with the body movement. So symptoms typically wax and wane, including complete remissions and sudden reoccurrences. It is common for other illness or physical injury to trigger functional symptoms, or for patients to develop functional overlay with concurrent illnesses. Without the wonderful support of my family and friends and medical professionals in my country, I would not have learned so much about taking care of my body, and I would not have recovered in the same way I did. And I'm very, very, very grateful for these wonderful people in my life, and I'm grateful for my own faith and my hope that really guided me through this recovery process. So I just really want to quickly share a few coping strategies that helped me. I do not claim to be a neurologist by any means. I'm just sharing what worked for me. My number one advice for someone dealing with FND is to reach out for support. Another thing that I would mention for coping strategies is to really focus on your breath and doing breathing exercises. An app that I really like is called Headspace, but it is a little bit expensive. So if you're looking for just regular meditations, you can find all sorts of things on YouTube as well. And my last piece of advice is to support yourself through self-love and through a practice of kindness towards yourself. It can be really scary and intimidating and traumatic to go through these experiences of not knowing why your body isn't working the way that your brain is telling it to. It can be especially overwhelming if you do not have a good support system. So I know if you're dealing with FND, you already have so much on your plate. However, ensuring that you have at least one good friend and one good family member that you can talk to that understand what you're going through can just mean the world. That's like the most important thing, is that you find someone, if you don't have someone already, to talk to. So as it is FND Awareness Month, I wanted to challenge you. So I am going to be raising $250 for increasing awareness and access to services for folks dealing with FND symptoms. Now, we unfortunately do not have a lot of resources in Canada, so I had to travel out of province to receive the support that I needed. So sometime in the next month, consider donating $5 to FND Hope in the description link below. Please consider donating. It means the world to myself and to so many people out there who are struggling with FND and need more research done about FND so that we can progress and learn more and spread awareness about this disorder. Now, I would love to personally thank you, so please reach out, DM me, repost this, put this on your story, share the fact that you're donating. I really want to thank everybody who's able to donate, and I'm just so grateful to be able to have a platform I can share my story on. So if you made it to the end of the video, please like, comment below. Maybe you're someone who has experienced FND. Please share your story. It matters so much. I look forward to seeing you soon in the next video. Bye.